As you can see, just the regulations alone are taller than I am. I'm 6'2", and they're 7 foot right now, and that's just the ones so far. I mean, you can just count on an awful lot of more of these, probably double the size of this, before it's done. And anybody with brains has got to say, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to health care in this country? Well, I'd like to thank my colleagues for being here. These are senators who understand the costs and consequences of the President's signature legislative accomplishment. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act, which I think is more accurate than almost any other appellation. It's the largest expansion of government in generations. Just look at that. That's just the regulations. This law is bad for America. It has over $1 trillion in tax hikes, almost, as you say, almost 20,000 pages of regulations, and costs $2.6 trillion if we're lucky. Let me reiterate that I continue to support full repeal of this disastrous law, and I'm honored to be with these two great colleagues. Because heading into its 3-year anniversary, we know that Obamacare will lead to higher health costs, fewer jobs, and smaller paychecks for American families. Now, we're here today because we all have legislation that would take down parts of this ill-conceived law. I've introduced 2 bills with Senator Alexander, our ranking member on the Help Committee. The first to repeal the individual insurance mandate, the requirement that everyone purchase insurance. This is a tremendous overreach of federal power. The government should not be dictating what people can and cannot purchase. Secondly, the second would repeal the job-killing employer mandate. That provision would hit employers with $150 billion in new taxes, that's according to the CBO, and lead to an estimated 3.2 million lost jobs, according to the Hudson Institute. I've also introduced bipartisan legislation repealing the medical device tax, which will come up during this budget battle that we're going to have on the floor. That's a tax on innovation. It's a job killer tax. This will cost device manufacturers, and a lot of them are small businesses who are very innovative, but it's going to cost them roughly $194 million per month, and it will put 43,000 American jobs at risk. And as Senator Barasso discussed, we've joined together to repeal the health insurance tax, which will do nothing more than increase health costs for businesses and families, which by the NFIB's estimate could cost over 200,000 jobs. Some of you might be thinking Democrats control the Senate, so you guys don't have a chance of passing these bills. I'll let Senator Johanns talk about this successful effort to repeal the 1099 paperwork requirement in the law. He was our leader on that, and he did a terrific job. But let me say this. The medical device tax repeal was a partisan bill last Congress. This Congress, we have 4 Senate Democrats backing it, and I believe there are other Democrats who will back it, who are seeing the devastation that's going to cause to the small business community and medical devices. And the health insurance tax repeal bill's lead sponsor in the House is a fellow Utah and Democratic Congressman Jim Matheson. The bottom line is that the more the American people know the costs, consequences, and problems with this law, the more Democrats will join with us in taking on some of its most egregious parts. Furthermore, I have zero confidence that this law will be successfully implemented. None. Zero. There's no way the Obama administration will have the exchanges ready in time by this fall, and this will cause mass confusion across America. And the cost will burst through any estimates we had when we debated this bill over 3 years ago. Now, we know the premium subsidy tax credits will cost far more than initially thought as more employers drop insurance coverage because of this law, pushing more people to get these government insurance subsidies. Ultimately, Obamacare, or what I call the Unaffordable Care Act, is even worse today than I thought it would be when the President signed it into law almost 3 years ago. This is a serious, serious set of problems that we just have to deal with and that we have to handle. And I'm really pleased to stand with my 2 colleagues here today and make some of these points. But look at this. It's a disgrace. And that's just the beginning. Not the end, it's just the beginning.